If you are a younger guy and you are struggling with dating and you're trying to determine whether you should be single, whether you should get into a relationship, and how to figure out the whole dating climate as a whole, which to be honest with you is an absolute mess right now, then I need you to pay attention to this whole video because I'm going to give you some tips that are really going to help you out, not just in your dating life, but in your regular life as well to help you build an empire. And these are the things that I wish that I knew when I was younger, about 5, 6 years ago. So if that's going to be helpful for you and you just stay till the end of the video, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Evan. I run the account Performance Potential here on YouTube and TikTok, and I help men of all ages master their dating lives and help them find the relationship that they're looking for with the right woman in such a tumultuous dating climate. Let's get right into it. So if you're a younger guy who's either in high school or he's in college, or who cares, if you're a man of any age and you're asking yourself, should I be single or should I be in a relationship? Then I need you to ask yourself one question first. Do you feel like you are ready to be in a relationship? And what is your outlook on dating and women as a whole like? So I get a lot of men that come to me that are very jaded about dating as a whole. They feel like they're either not getting any options with women, or the options they're getting with women, the women are playing games, they're playing these texting games, and it's just not an enjoyable process for them. So you have to ask yourself, what is your viewpoint about yourself, about women in general, and about dating? Because if it's a very negative viewpoint and you feel like you're just down this rabbit hole of not getting along with women, things are not going well for you, then I'm going to advise that you shouldn't date. And a lot of people ask me, like, why do you tell some of the guys that you meet or that you coach you're not ready to date right now? Well, to be honest, you really are, what you attract. And if you're attracting women that you're thinking are going to play these negative and toxic games, and that's the outlook that you have on women and dating as a whole, what kind of result do you think you're going to get? And to be honest with you, I agree with the guys who are out there that say it's better to be single than it is to be with women playing games. So I want to give you guys kind of my continuum or hierarchy of what I think is the most beneficial situation for a person. And even if you don't agree, it's fine. This has just been my experience, as somebody who's coached thousands of men and in my own personal life. So we first start off by thinking, what is the worst situation we could be in when it comes to a relationship or being single? And in my mind, the worst thing that you can possibly have is being in a relationship that's a toxic relationship. So in my mind, that is the worst of all worlds. That is the worst part of the continuum that you're starting on. Being in a relationship that's toxic, abusive, manipulative, she's cheating on you, she's doing something that's really bad for you. The next step, a little bit above that, is being single and being extremely alone. And if you are single and you feel like you are alone, this is also going to minimize your confidence, going to make it harder for you to date in the future. And that's a whole different topic that we'll have to cover in a different video. So if that's something you need my help with, I help plenty of guys who feel like they are single and they cannot get options start to get more options. Now, the next piece in my mind is where a lot of guys are trying to get to and where a lot of guys sit. And what that is they are single, but they are happy and okay being alone. Now, my recommendation for men of all ages is until you can be happy being single and being by yourself, you should not be in a relationship. Because if you are only getting to a relationship because you are alone or lonely, or you feel like you're desperate, or you haven't had sex in months or years or ever, then the reason why you're getting into that relationship is only to get something from somebody else, right? And it's going to cause this codependence or dependence on the person that you're talking to. And instead of just mutually being a beneficial relationship for both of you, you're looking to get something from them, they're looking to get something from you, and it's not going to create a secure attachment in a relationship. Now, a lot of people say, well, shouldn't this be a trade-off back and forth if I provide this and she provides this? Well, I mean, yes, to a degree, but that's not really how a secure, beneficial relationship functions. You're not just there as a transaction, right? Like she gives you intimacy and you give her time and resources and intimacy as well. That's not how it works. So if you're asking yourself, how do I get to that point? How do I become being happy, being single? That is honestly a self-confidence and a self-esteem thing. And honestly, confidence comes internally, but it is also validated by other people confirming to you that you are as great as you think you are, and that you're somebody who's worth being with as well. So again, it's this continuum where a lot of men start off like either in a really toxic relationship, they get broken up with or they get out of it, then they're single and they're lonely, then they're single and they learn how to be happy being single. And then the last piece in my mind, which is the most beneficial, if you find the right woman, right? Like I have to put this disclaimer on there. And again, probably less than 3% of the women out there, maybe 1% of the women out there are going to be great women and a great woman for you, right? You have to understand that. Like the percentages of women that you're going to meet, the vast majority of them are not going to be good for you. They're not going to be right for you. And you have to sort through that and be patient. And again, I talked about this in different videos, but being patient is extremely important for men. So the last piece in my hierarchy of relationships and fulfillment and happiness is being in a relationship with the right woman that is a secure relationship that's not based on insecurity, a transactional love, a transactional feeling for one another. And that is very hard to find and very hard to attain because you have to have two people who are coming to the equation complete. And that is very difficult and that takes some time. So if you're a young man and you're sitting there and you're asking yourself this question, like, am I really far off from this? Is this something that I can achieve? Is this something I want? My honest advice for you is if you're asking yourself these questions, you might not be ready for a relationship yet. And there's nothing wrong with that. And let me tell you why that is. I'm 28, about to be 29 years old. When I was in my early 20s and teens, I was always in a long-term relationship, but I was in a long-term relationship because I felt like I had to be in long-term relationships. The relationships were enjoyable. I learned a lot and they were great. But the difference between me now as a 28, 29-year-old guy versus when I was in my early 20s, it's not even close. And another thing I want you guys that are younger guys to understand that I didn't learn until I was in my mid-20s was that girls that are your age are dating men that are much older. I want that to sink in for a second because this is kind of a tough pill to swallow for a lot of guys. Women who are in their early 20s or right out of college are dating men who are in their mid to late 20s and sometimes even in their 30s. So you have to ask yourself the question, do I want to be on my own, build myself up for a little bit, and be much more marketable and be a much better partner in the long run, and I'm ready to settle down and get into a relationship right now? That is a question that you have to ask yourself. But my advice to you is this. You need to worry about yourself and mastering your life and yourself before you can be in a healthy, beneficial relationship with somebody else. So if you are there right now, then yes, pursue that amazing relationship. If you are not there right now, then you need to work on yourself and build yourself up because then down the road, you're going to be more marketable for the right woman and the woman that you want to be with. So I hope this advice helped, guys. If you do need to work with me personally and you feel like you need my help and you feel like you're not having any luck with it, whether you're a guy who feels like he's not getting enough options, or most specifically, most of the men that I coach are men that know that they can get options, know that they can do better, but they're just not there yet. So if you feel like that's you, I want you guys to leave a comment, hit the link down below, get in touch with me, and subscribe.